Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, I wanted to show you a little strategy that I've been using to help myself clear stages. Now, it's not going to be like a magic trick that lets you clear every stage, but if you are struggling, it's definitely an easy strategy to test and see if it works for you. And if we jump into it, I just noticed that this stage was one that it was working on for me. So I wanted to jump in here and show you guys it and show you that it does take some time to make it work. But essentially what it is putting Endorsi in the front row. Now, you may look at my team and go, yes, he's only got the 3 purple units, so he's getting disadvantage against the 5 yellows. He should probably bring 5 purples. But unfortunately, at this stage of the game, honestly, my Evankel is just like, she just does so much damage and she just cleaves so hard. And when we look at this team, we've got Rachel, who sort of sits back a bit. We've got Karaka, who does get an extra life anyway, so if he dies, he at least comes back and fears and buys some time. And I've been lucky enough to pull Data Meshani, and I'll make a whole video about her. I might make a video re-going over all the SSR pluses, but she basically has the best invincibility in the game, and she can just, you know, distract enemies for so long. So she's fantastic in that sense. But this one is all about the strategy on this. It completely changes the way a fight goes, and that is by putting what's her face? I've already forgotten her name. I always forget her name. Endorsi. I think I just said it before, but Endorsi in the front row. Now, you don't need dupes of her. She obviously gets better with dupes because she doesn't proc her cheat death and disappear as fast, but it's only about the initial start of the battle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a battle, see if we can get it to happen. Yes, let's do that. Okay, first time on this instance, so it's going to get me. So what we're trying to see is what the enemies do, and you'll see once we actually manage to get it to work. Let's jump in and let's use, dude, loading times. Emulator loading times are horrible in this game. I have no idea why. Okay, so here we go. So let's see what the enemies do. Okay, you can see this time the enemies are all spread out. Okay, so this is something that I don't understand why it happens in the game, but in this game, for some reason, the AI difference in the way it works, like, you'd think that when the characters run in, the sort of RNG of it doesn't start happening until the first interaction with characters. Then past that, everything is RNG that can change the order of battle. But the RNG of battle, I think, starts before the battle even starts, and if there's a little bit of lag or something like that, I can't explain it, but if we go through this a few more times, you will see what Endorsi can do, and it's all about the way she lunges to the back row at the start, and she can essentially hold the entire enemy team up and keep them grouped up at the back of the battlefield and make your whole team run into them. Okay, we didn't get it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and I'll come back with a replay to show you. But essentially what happens is, and like I said, I don't know why it happens this way. You'd think it would never happen. Like the first instance of, like the way they all engage in combat, you'd think should be the same every time, but it doesn't. I'll come back once I get a replay to show you that she can essentially just group the whole enemy team from the start. And there's a lot of characters that want enemies grouped up so that they can use their close range AoEs to deal as much damage as possible. And that's what I've been cheesing with using my Evankel, because then she can just get her ult off and just destroy everyone on the enemy team straight away. So I'll be back in a second. I'll show you what happens. Okay, so there we go. We actually managed to clear the stage with that strategy on the next time it happened. So I want to show you, watch closely at the start of the battle. You'll see like, it's like something like lag happens and the enemy team just waits for my Endorsi to jump to them, and then they all stand there, and it works so perfectly, especially if you have one of those AoE damage dealers that wants them grouped up. So let's go hit replay here. And I'll try and slow the speed if I can of the replay when we jump into it, just so we can just see it at the very start. Once again, I apologize for the loading times. Loading times are absolutely horrid on emulator. It's not too bad on the phone, but you can see like it like pauses at the start and the enemy team just waits and Endorsi jumps in. Yes, because my Endorsi isn't duped. She doesn't have gear on. She doesn't have defenses. She just like insta dies. Like she goes in, procs her cheat death, goes back and dies. But her purpose has been served in this one where she's grouped the enemies up. And like I said, Evankel, I still don't know how to say this chick's name, but Kel, she could just then just like guarantee her AoE hits everyone else. Whereas in the last the last attempt she was seeing, she was only hitting like 2 enemies because they weren't grouped enough. So yeah, it's like, it's such a cheese, but is so fantastic for so many characters. There's a lot of close range AoEs, you know, whether it be like control effects, damage, whatever it may be. There's just so many of them that apply to close range AoE, and being able to just cheese it and have the whole enemy team grouped up at the very start of battle is just a fantastic thing to have in your arsenal. And as you can see there, like, she just insta-died, did absolutely nothing, but that's not what she was there to do. So I had finished the video, but I decided to come back because after I recorded it and edited it, I just kept pushing the account. And as you can see, my characters haven't changed levels. Now we're at a more of a decent deficit. Honestly, the hardest stage that I've been stuck at in this game was 9-4, because after I cleared that, I've basically swept through this whole chapter, which is insane. I think I got to the chapter at like just under 200k power, and we struggled on 4 for like 2 days, but we're here. So I wanted to show you, because I've literally just used this team the whole way through, sometimes shifting around the back row, but just with that Endorsi in the front row. So I haven't tried this stage. Probably going to be a bit harder. We're getting into a little bit of a higher deficit. We got some blue units in the enemy team, which now starts to shaft me a bit more, because, you know, Kel is my main damage dealer. Maybe I can try Yuri on this one. I'd love to have one more dupe into that Yuri, but let's just jump in and see what we can do here. Once again, we're probably going to struggle a little bit with these, sorry, not water hose, they're blue units. Let's jump in. Let's see how it goes. Hoping for some results. Dude, these, I can't get over these load screens on emulators. If anyone has a fix, let me know. All right, so we didn't get the cheese there. So let's just see how this goes in a normal run, just out of curiosity, just so we can get a gauge. Okay, the problem is my Rachel stealing energy from my Kel there at just the wrong times. That kind of sucks. Let's go in again, and if we don't get it this one, I'll come back when we actually do get it and see if we can actually clear this stage. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Didn't get the stall. All right, we'll play this one out. I just want to see if my Kel can actually get an ult and kill anything. Unfortunately, Karaka's just dying too quick, so he comes back to life, and then he uses his taunt and then just dies again. I'll be back in a sec. I'll see if we can get it. Okay, so there we go. We managed to get this one as well, and once again, my deficit may not be the biggest deficit that anyone's ever seen, but like, the strategy of this works. Now, this one took me about 15 tries to get it to group the enemies for the first time, and I failed, and I kept trying and trying and trying, and we eventually got it. So it's just a really strong strategy. So that's basically clapped me through this. Like, I've cleared this whole chapter in the course of like, what's that, like 4 hours now. Like, I love this strategy. Obviously it doesn't work with every unit in the game, but I feel like a lot of units do have, and there you go, just like, I don't know what it is, but it stalls everything, and then we get that perfect grouping. And because I also have Kel and also Rachel, who both do the swirlies, and then I've got Karaka, who puts the orbs out, you know, it just works well. And this one, Kel actually died, and then it was Karaka that did the heavy lifting in this one to get the kill across the board. So however you can get it done, you get it done. But I got 2 units in there that love the AoE, so it was nice to go ahead and get that chapter done. So that's not too bad. We can keep going in this. Let's jump in and let's just jump into one more stage, because I'm happy that we finally cleared that chapter. Let's jump in here, and I want to see what the power deficit is. I think I was clicking too quick. I think I clicked too quick, because I forgot that I hit next stage and it enters me in there automatically. So let's just see. What do we got this one? So let's see if we can freeze them. So once again, that time, not freezing the enemies. It's just so hit and miss on whether or not it's going to work. But, you know, when it does, it is super satisfying. And let's face it, in campaign, retries are part of the game. Like, doing a million retries is what you've just got to do in these idle games. So if you can do it, you take the W's when they come. So let's check this one. Okay, we're back to a much lower deficit here on this stage. We got red enemies and purple enemies, so we can sit this neutral. Let's just try again one more time with this. To be honest, on this stage, I probably don't need this strategy. I can just probably go with the standard strategy and get through it at this deficit, but let's see if we can get this one to work. I mean, we can just spam retries for days anyway, so let's see if we can get this. Okay, no grouping, but once again, I'm not going to bore you guys with watching me try and do this a million times over. Essentially, if you have grouping units, try this Endorsi strat. It is huge. You don't need dupes. Obviously, dupes, once again, will make her better. But, like, the fact that you can just have the whole enemy team insta-grouped is fantastic. Just keep in mind, if you got units that stand back and they have lunging units that are going to lunge to it, it does break the system a bit. But in general, you know, it's a pretty good one that hopefully will help you guys get through some stages along the way. But there we go. Got that one anyway. Didn't even need it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.